Guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an article titled, Think Women Only Want You for Your Money? Maybe you don't have anything else to offer. And guys, this whole article is written by a woman, and as you're going to see real quick, she's definitely an effeminist. That's code for feminist, because I can't say that word too much in this channel. YouTube doesn't like that type of stuff. And not only that, but also, from what I've gathered by reading between the lines, she's definitely bitter towards guys. Not just towards guys, but also the fact that towards guys that the guys that are successful, that are doing well for themselves, going after the younger women. Okay, she's one of those. Okay, and there are plenty of them out there that get to their 30s and 40s and are mad that the guys that are their age and they feel they're entitled to a guy their age are more interested in women that are younger. Okay. And so obviously she's going to knock on guys for that. But a big part of this article is also, which part has to do with the title, she's basically calling BS on the fact that the notion, the idea that women are after guys because of money, the whole gold digger thing, because she's going to use some statistics that she came across and numbers to show that basically no, that women can obviously do well for themselves and they're breadwinners and all that. And so this whole song and dance, this whole narrative, so to speak, about women being interested in guys because of their money and things like that, that's just not true, which we all know is complete BS, okay? Believe me, I don't know, there isn't a woman walking the earth right now that even if she does well for herself, if a wealthy celebrity pulled up in a limousine or in a Ferrari next to her and started talking to her and gave her his business card or invited her out on a date, that she wouldn't go out with him. There's no single woman on this planet that wouldn't go for that type of guy in a heartbeat. And there's plenty of ones that were in relationships or marriages that if a celebrity pulled up in the limousine and said basically, I want to take you away and all that, wouldn't drop that guy like that. Okay, so come on here. It's the money, it's the fame, it's the status, all that. So don't give me that. We all know that's true. Okay, so anyhow, guys, I'm going to go through this article. I'm going to point out the BS, what I think she says is BS along the way, and you'll enjoy hearing this and what the warped sense of reality she has and some of the things she has to say. So it starts off, it's easy to date a hot woman. All you need is to pay for everything for her. An acquaintance of mine joked in a group chat recently. A former coworker commented on an April Fool's post of somebody saying, yes, Bitcoin has gone up so much, I bought myself a yacht, with the words, now just watch the women in bikinis come running. Well, pretty much, you got yourself a yacht, you're going to have no problem getting women in bikinis to come hang out. Believe me. Hearing this from people in my social circle was particularly aggravating and drove home how widely spread this vision is. The old stereotype that women are only interested in men for their money dies hard, especially concerning women of color or from developing countries. Like I said before with the whole yacht thing, guys, if you got enough money that you can buy yourself a yacht and you pull up and there's young women at the bar or restaurants nearby, because I've been to places where yachts pull up and they obviously have nice bars and restaurants because the rich people get off, and there's always women there. And believe me, you can't tell me in a heartbeat if a guy invited them to come up on his yacht to go sailing, boom, you would see a puff of smoke as they would disappear, run away so fast, like the Road Runner, to get on that yacht. Okay, do not tell me that would not happen here. And if the guy happened to be good looking and have some status, like not just some rich 80-year-old guy that nobody knows about, but if he actually was a celebrity and he had some status and he was young and not too overweight, but just average looking, boom, they'd be on that yacht like that. And mainstream media feed into this narrative. The New York Post gleefully reported on wealthy bachelors getting vasectomies before the Hamptons' high season to avoid being baby-trapped. I did a story on that last summer, and yeah, all these guys that obviously are wealthy and do well for themselves, they spend parts of the summer in the Hamptons, obviously a wealthy area, and they begin vasectomies because these girls up there that work in the bars and the restaurants and all that, these guys, they hook up, okay, and they know guys that have been the whole baby trapping thing has happened to them. So they're being careful. She says, NFL and NBA run seminars to teach players the dangers of succumbing to gold diggers. Former NFL pro Irving Fryer told a group of young players, the CIA has nothing on a woman with a plan. It is especially frustrating because all statistics indicate the opposite. What statistics? Are you in a parallel reality where everything's opposite and that's where you're getting these statistics from? In U.S. homes, women are the sole or primary breadwinners in 40% of cases. That is in spite of the fact that they earn on an average 82 cents for every dollar a man makes. Here we go again with that. I was waiting for that. Well, before it was always 78 cents on the dollar, so now it's moved up to 82 cents. Okay, so things are getting a little closer. Well, I got news for you. Studies have proven that is BS, and we all know darn well in today's world, you got tons of women that have advanced degrees and have very, very good paying jobs, good status in their company, start businesses, make darn good money, and I respect that. Believe me, I do. Anybody that's on their purpose, I don't care who it is, and doing well for themselves, I respect. But the point is, this whole notion that they're not getting paid as much, bullshit, okay? And also the fact that, okay, a big percentage are the breadwinners, and what she's trying to say is because such a high percentage in the statistics she gathered are breadwinners, then they're not going to be interested. They're not going to be gold diggers. They're not going to be interested in guys that obviously make a lot more money and do better. Bullshit. Just like I said, there's no women walking the face of the earth now, even if they do well for themselves, make good money and all that, and can be completely fine on their own, that if a celebrity in a limousine pulled up and invite him out and to take them all away, then in a heartbeat, they wouldn't go. And we all know it. Pulled up in a limousine, Ferrari, their yacht sailed up to the dock where the bar was, where she and her girlfriends were having a girls' night out, in a heartbeat. So don't give me that nonsense. She says, and sure, that isn't 50-50 yet, but considering how much more unpaid labor women do in terms of housework and childcare, it is apparent that women, not men, are the ones being taken advantage of in terms of both work and money. What are you talking about here? Professional matchmakers say that rich is not a criteria that comes up for a lot of women seeking a partner. More than half the women we talk to list height as their top 3. Well, you know what? I don't think your average woman that's consulting or hired a professional matchmaker, which she describes here, is actually going to come out and say, I want a rich guy. Okay, some probably do, but the most probably don't, because they don't want to be perceived or seen as a certain way. But I guarantee you they're going to want a guy that obviously does well for himself and has his life together. And I got no problem. I got no problem with a woman want a guy that has his shit together, because, you know, adult men should have their shit together. And that's what I try to encourage you guys to be. But again, there's no woman walking the face of the earth that wouldn't in a heartbeat want a rich guy that they basically would never have to worry about money ever again. I mean, come on here. She says more than half the women list height is their top 3. I hear height way more than I hear money, says Bella Gandhi, the founder of online dating consulting services Smart Dating Academy, in the Chicago Tribune. The phrase she does hear a lot is financially stable or successful in his career, and that seems more like looking for someone who has their shit together rather than someone to bleed dry. Yeah, and I got no problem looking for somebody that has their lives together, because guess what? As adults, you should have your life together and do well for yourself. But again, this whole, because they're not saying we're looking for a rich guy, means that they're not. Bullshit. Yes, they are. Believe me. The gold digger trope also comes to the idea that the woman is manipulative, ensnaring a man under false pretenses to rob his money. Let's be honest, most of the time the exchange is extremely clear. Oh, so she's saying that women aren't manipulative. Is that now part of her research? I'm speechless at that part here. I mean, we all know darn well that's a bunch of nonsense. I mean, what's one of the oldest books in the world? The Bible, the book of Genesis. What's the first story in Genesis? The story of Adam and Eve. And what's the real story behind the story there? Manipulation. She manipulated Adam to eat that stupid apple. The first lesson in the Bible, right then and there, the book of Genesis, you got Adam to eat that apple. The manipulation goes back all the way back in time to the time when that story was written, okay? Women manipulate. End of story. She says, let's be honest here, most of the time the exchange is extremely clear. The 80-year-old man with a 20-year-old because she's beautiful and young, not for her wit and personality. And the 20-year-old is with the 80-year-old for his money and the comfort of living that comes from it, not his physical attractiveness, or all the life experiences they would be able to share. It's not manipulation when everyone knows what's going on. Well, one of the big differences is that the 80-year-old, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a business transaction. He's getting something out of it, and she's getting something out of it. But the 20-year-old with the 80-year-old in this hypothetical scenario here, which can happen on occasion, we've seen it. You know, the girl can pretend to be in love with the guy, the way older guy, to get him to marry her and have access to his resources. But the guy could fall in love with her based on her beauty. Okay, that's the difference. The guy may actually genuinely fall in love based on her beauty on the outside, but the woman's faking it all the way to get right to the bank account. Goes on, and this brings us to another fundamental truth. All relationships are based on some form of transaction. Well, that's one thing I do agree with her about. In an ideal world, that transaction is equal exchange of love, affection, laughter, and support. But this is not the case in many partnerships, nor is the historic root of marriage, initially based more on property rights and protecting family fortunes than love and romance. I once read a tweet, I want the term gold digger to include dudes who look for women who will do tons of emotional labor for them. And I find this incredibly important because it underlies just one element that women often provide in a relationship that men take for granted without being given a derogatory name or vilified. That term, emotional labor, I did a video on that 8 months ago, and this woman was talking about that, about how basically she's doing all at home. The husband doesn't clean up the house as much as she wants, or does all these things that she wants, in her view, to make the house clean, and all the emotional labor she has to go through with the stress and anxiety of that. But at the end of the day, that emotional labor, that new term, that's on them. That is on the individual. It can be man or woman, if you want to be fair here. That emotional labor is brought on by themselves, getting themselves all worked up on because the house isn't clean enough, or this thing isn't done right, according to her psychotically high standards. So I don't want to hear about this complaining about the emotional labor. You bring that on yourselves. It says, why should we judge these women looking for money in a relationship any more than those men looking for a pretty woman to look good next to them? Are men looking for an ever-supportive wife to give them the cheerleading they need to succeed? Well, like I said before, the guy could genuinely fall in love with a woman based on her beauty, like truly be in love with her to get her beauty and all the benefits of that. But the young woman with the much older guy with the money and resources, she's not going to fall in love with him. She'll pretend to be in love to get him to marry her, to propose, then she get access to his resources. And I'm talking about the very drastic situations, guys, okay? 20-something getting together with the 60-something guy or the 70-something guy. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the dude's 42 and she's 31, okay? Or 28, okay? That does happen, but not to this degree. Are men looking for an ever-supportive wife to give them the cheerleading they need to succeed? Guys, if you're going to get married, you should be with a girl that is going to give you what she describes as the cheerleading to help you succeed. You want a woman that's going to be cheering you on to be successful, to reach your goals and purposes, because that's the type of partner you want to have. All right, seriously, that's a bad thing? Is she saying that it's a bad thing here? You want that girl. And not to mention the fact that if the guy is successful, it helps bring her along for that, okay? But just you want a girl that's going to be cheering you on to go after your purpose and make something of yourself. That's a good woman. And there are good women out there, guys. It's becoming more rare thanks to the conditioning of the feminist movement in today's world, amongst the many ugly things that have really had a negative impact on the young women, teens, 20s, and 30s. But there are still good ones out there, but just they're rare. She says they are equally shallow reasons to enter into a marriage. Yet one of those women seeking money are called out for it. Plus, in our society where 12% of billionaires are women, seeking wealth through a man can be considered a sound economic decision. The bottom line is, if a man feels like women are only interested in his money, that may be the only thing he can offer them, and this is linked to which women he will seek out. If an older man only goes for younger women, they are less likely to be interested in his looks and what they have in common because they will have entirely different life experiences. Well, duh. Obviously. If men want women that are interested in them, they should aim for women with whom they have similar interests. If men want to be treated as humans, not as walking wallets, they should go for women that they see and treat as humans, not trophies. Well, believe me, at the end of the day, as I've said countless times, the number one thing for a guy that we notice in a woman, the number one thing that attracts us are looks and body types. And so many women get bent out of shape about this, but it's the truth. It's the ugly truth, and I'm saying it right here, okay? I don't care how kind of a person a woman is. If she is overweight and lets herself go and she's physically unattractive, I don't care how kind she is, how cool she is, how smart she is, supportive, all these really good qualities, it doesn't matter, okay? She needs to lose the freaking weight. She needs to take care of herself physically, make herself feminine, okay? And unfortunately, you can have a woman that is smoking hot, a 10 in the looks department body type, and she could be just rotten to the core on the inside, but there are going to be guys that are going to go for her because of her looks. That's just how it is. In my opinion, that's stupid, okay? I'm not that type of extreme type of person, but there are guys that would do that, and it's stupid, but that's just how much of a drive looks and body types are for us guys. And I thought I would get through a whole video without sirens. There you go. Anyhow, guys, so... Or as comedian Whitney Cummings puts it, I have an idea. How about just date women with their own effing gold? I don't know, maybe stop dating 18-year-olds that need a Kickstarter campaign just to eat dinner. Maybe just date adults with jobs. Well, it's actually kind of funny. But as you can see here, also here, guys, you're between the lines. She's bitter because obviously guys her own age, no doubt, are pursuing or after younger women. Because at the end of the day, younger women, fertility, youth, better looks, better bodies. Now, don't get me wrong. I know women that are in their 30s, 40s, in some cases 50s. They look damn good. But it's not going to be the same as in the 20s, okay? Women can work hard at the gym and have a good, healthy, clean diet and take care of, go to the salon every couple of weeks with their hair, nails, dress sexy, dress well. Don't wear these big-ass, baggy mom jeans, but actually nice, form-fitting jeans. You get the point. And they can look good, and they can get guys at any age, believe me. But... believe me, the successful guy that is doing well for himself, has lots of options, he's always going to go for the younger women. Unless he maybe is a little different, you just never know. But generally, they're going to go for the best deal they can get, okay? But this whole idea here that, that women aren't gold diggers, and because we obviously do well, make money, and are, in some cases, percentage-wise, breadwinners, that they're not going to do that anymore, that's nonsense. We all know it's nonsense, okay? And like I said, guy pulls up in a yacht, guy up to a dock, and there's a nice bar, and there's lots of young girls there. But he invites them on the yacht. Boom, they're coming on the yacht, okay? And they're hoping to get with that guy if they can get a chance, or just go for a ride. Guy pulls up in a Ferrari or a limousine, a famous guy, a celebrity, a professional sports athlete, a musician. Believe me, if the girl's single, she could be dating other guys that are great guys, but if the celebrity that has a lot of money is interested in her, bye-bye. The average Joes that are probably not so average, actually, could be making 6 figures, 6 feet tall. They're not going to compete with a super rich guy. So, but anyhow, that'd be an interesting little piece to go over here, guys. So that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.